Hey everyone. I didn't want you to feel left out. I made a current events explainer video for the careers classes, so I thought I should probably make a current events explainer video for you guys as well. So that's what you have here. I'm going to go question by question through the current events assignment and hopefully explain everything as we go. So the first thing you want to make sure you always do is look at the actual assignment on Google Classroom. Remember that for us, current events are due on the 7th and the 21st of every month. Okay. The week that I'm filming this, your current events assignment is restricted in that your article needs to be on economics or the economy. Please also remember that since this is a world history class, no articles that are primarily about America or Americans. So let's start from the beginning. Choose an appropriate current events article. Okay. Well, right on our class website, you have 13 or 14 really good resources for current events. Since you are restricted from using News from America, you probably want to stay away from, say, the Asbury Park Press or NJ.com, but the rest of these, and Indian Country Today, although sometimes Indian Country Today will have Canadian news, which would count. Okay. But the rest of these sites are all going to have world news. Okay, but for our purposes, let's use Al Jazeera today. And let's find an article. Now remember, just because it's an international site does not mean that all of the articles will be about other countries. Some of them will still be about America. So let's say we want an article about Africa this time. Okay. We want an article about Africa. Let's see. Let's pick a good one. Okay, how about that? How many Africans are being held back by illicit financial outflows? Illicit is just a fancy word for illegal. Okay. So we have, oh, this one's a video. Okay, we'd have to watch the video, so that's fine. It'll work. Actually, maybe not. Okay, here, this is a better one for an example. Yeah. Paris Fashion Week, fashion is big business. Okay, back on track. All right, so let's see. We have an article. Now we need to make a citation. There's a few different ways to do it. The easiest one is to copy the website and go to ezbib.com. Click Create Citations. For a website. Paste your citation in place and click Search. Okay, double check, is that your article? Yes. Okay. Look at your information. Does it match? Yes. Lovely. Okay, go back and check because it's not showing an author. So let's see if they give us one. A lot of times News Online doesn't have an author, so it's fine if there isn't one, but always double check that it didn't get left out. Okay. and it gives you your citation. So copy it. You can paste it right into your document. Easy peasy. Okay, so on what continent does this article mostly take place? If you do not know where Paris is, you will need a map. I know that Paris is in France and France is in Europe, so there's my continent, Europe. Okay, does this article mostly take place in the northern or southern hemisphere, in the eastern or western hemisphere? If you don't know, you're just going to need to look up a map. Okay, north of the equator is the northern hemisphere. South of the equator is the southern hemisphere. This is Europe. Okay, Paris is in the northern hemisphere. West of the prime meridian line is the western hemisphere. Sorry, west of the prime meridian line is the western hemisphere. East of the prime meridian line is the eastern hemisphere. And Paris is in the eastern hemisphere, though just barely. Okay. Again, if you don't know this one, you're going to have to just look at a map. There's no trick about it. Okay. All right. Summarize your article, minimum of 200 words. In order to get a word count, highlight your text, tools, and then click on word count. At the very least, your summary should answer the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, why, and the 1 H, how. So, who is the article about? Remember, who can be an individual person. It can be groups of people. The article could be about a country or an industry. What is the article about? That one might take 2 or 3 sentences. When does the article take place? Not when was it published. When do the things in the article actually happen? Those aren't always the same. Where does the article take place? And why are the things in the article happening? Again, like what, why, and how might take more than 1 sentence to answer. And then how did the things in the article happen? If you answer all of those questions in complete sentences, counting for the fact that what, why, and how probably take more than 1 sentence, you should actually hit your 200-word requirement without much trouble. If you don't hit the 200 words, it is a sign of one or of 2 things. Either A, your article wasn't long enough, or B, far more likely, you didn't answer enough information into your summary. Okay. Historical connections. So how does this article relate to the things we are discussing in world history? All right, this question it'll get easier to answer as the year goes on. Obviously, now we are in the beginning of the year. And for the first, 2.5 weeks, we weren't really talking about history. We were talking about like how to do well in class. Okay, but you can either compare to specific events, like protests today, or like these protests we talked about yesterday. Or you can talk about themes, okay? People fighting for their rights in both time periods. This week's probably going to be a bit of a stretch because you're going to have to find something in either that China article or that India article, the Europe article, or ooh. Can you draw a comparison between, say, in this case, the role of fashion in this article to the role of fashion in foot binding? But this question will get easier to answer as the year goes on because we'll have talked about more things. Do the best you can for now. Okay, reflections. Again, 75 words, which is, 2 or 3 sentences probably. Why is it important? What questions are left unanswered? Is there bias, meaning strong point of view in the article? Your thoughts and feelings. What should we do about this? You don't necessarily have to answer all of these questions. And if you have other thoughts about the article that aren't included in these questions, that's fine. It's your reflection, okay? Your point of view on the article. But try and at least hit some of these questions. Okay, and then life connections. Explain how this article connects to something else you have learned in this class and another class in your own life. Okay, something that's going on today, make the connection. And then there's just a little checklist for making sure you get everything done. Make sure you check your word count. Please check your spelling and your grammar. I know you guys all have the Grammarly add-on, but you can also just go under Tools, Spelling, and Grammar. You should not be handing in assignments that have the little squiggle lines all throughout them. All right, make sure you've included your citation. Okay, make sure you've put your citation in. Okay, make sure you actually turn in Google Classroom and, share the news around. These boxes obviously all will expand as you type. All right. I hope this helps you to be a little more comfortable with current events and answer some of the questions that you may have had. Okay, have a great night, guys.